Uh, okay. So layer transform, using the layer transform to create the animations. Every layer has the transform option here. So in that transform, you have the anchor points, position, scale, rotation, and opacity. So animating a text layer from here is what I'm talking about, from the layer transform. Okay, so if you click on any of them, you can create a transformation. So for instance, I want to do a basic pendulum or back and forth movement of this layer. So I initiate my initial points. Let me do something like this. Let me walk backwards. 5 seconds, I want it to be here. That's where I want it to be positioned. And I go back. So at the beginning, I want it here. Again, I want it here. Welcome. Welcome. Okay, so in the beginning, I want it here. I'm going to animate every second. At 2 seconds, I want it here. At oh no, let's say at 1 second. At 1 second, I want it there. At 2 seconds, I want it back to this place. At 3 seconds, I want it back here. At 4 seconds, want it back here again. So just a pendulum movement of the text, just that back and forth. So that's using the layer transform or the layers transform options. That is that transform where I can use any of them to do an animation. If I want, I can add also another transformation, maybe like opacity. So in between, it starts at 100. In between them, it goes off. And then I just repeat that option there. Like that. So I want it to blink and move like that. So this is layer transform. I'm using the layers pattern to do, or the layers transform properties to animate the text layer or the text itself. It's a very common and basic way of animating using the layers transform. It's very basic. So uh, it can get fun if you mix up the properties correctly. You can really get some effects from it. So yeah, you mixed you mix everything. Yeah, scale, rotation. Okay, congratulations. So all right, so that's the layers transform. Let me collapse that. The second layer is source text. a different way of animating your texts. Source texts. Source texts has to do with the source of the text, as in where the text is sprouting from, like the character and the paragraph section there. So what we have here, character and paragraph, all these are source texts. Everything here is source text. So if you open up the text uh, layer, then open the option for text, you will see source text. So source text has the keyframe there, and then we are going to animate all these options here. So once you turn on the keyframe, anything you change in the source text options, all this character and paragraph, you will affect the text as well, right? So the source text by default is a stop animation. Basically everything, look at the, let me turn this one on. You look at the animation of the first one, they are diamonds, right? This one is square. So with source text, everywhere you want to change, you just add your changes there. So let's say at this point, I want I want my text to turn red. So on the wrong objects. I was on the wrong layer. Okay, so turning this to red, and I move forward. I turn this to blue. I move forward, change text size, move forward, change the font. Yep, not a bad font. Let me use Vivaldi. Or change the tracking. Yes, sir. Yes. That's why I said it's a stop animation. That is, it doesn't move till the next keyframe. So it's more like the hold, the hold animation keyframe that you did. So it's a stop animation. So it just waits for the next change. There's no in betweening for it. Mm. So whatever you change, it will adapt to it. Anything you change in the mode here, it's going to adapt to it. So even if you do this, just look at this. Even if here, change this one to source. Spice. So you can see the text changing the names. Okay, let me. Yeah, X. Oh, uh, Jason and our very own. What's Michael? What is the best color? Purple. Yes. Jason, what is the best color? What's tone of blue? Bright or dark? Michael, you say purple, right? Alex, what's yours? Jello, jello, jello. Wow. Damir, what's your best color? All right, so green gives it. All right, so source text is very rigid. It just changes only when the text appears on the keyframe, and then whatever you change, including the text itself, it will change. That's how source text works. Okay. Mr. T, is TJ up on the board? TJ is on the other side of the screen. Okay, he muted. Yeah, he's muted. Yeah, so that he can follow. All right, I hope he's here. What? The stuff. Okay, yeah, that's we're supposed to play around. Okay, the will be 44. Is he your 44? Maybe when he's 44, he will get something. So, all right. So that is source text. You're basically just animating the original source of the text. So whether it's the text, the words itself, or the styles or the character styles or the paragraph styles, any of those stuff, that's what you are animating in source text. Okay. The next one is animate. Now, in that layer, the animate layer, where we have our text, we have the word animate here. That is a button, and that button can allow us select any of these options for animation. It's a root. Oh, let me see. I guess that was TJ that was responding to me. Okay, so we have all these options. Like I said, enable per character 3D is once we turn the layer into a 3D layer, which is a very simple thing. But for now, we are doing these other ones, just picking up any of these properties here. These are properties, right? These are properties, they are not selectors. So when you pick a property, it gives you a selector with most um, basically, or let's say by default, a range selector. And the range selector just allows you determine what happens at what time within the animation. So for instance, if I pick up, let's say skew, skew is for uh, tilting the text, basically. So once we have um, a property selected, it creates, first of all, an animator group, animator one. The software marks out what or the position of where the text was at the time when you created it. It marks that out as the base point, and then it gives you your property here to adjust it. So basically, if I adjust my skew here, it's not going to affect the base property. It's just going to affect what I want it to skew from, that from the base property to this option. So, right. So that's the skew. So I could turn my skew this way as far as 70, probably make it rotate in maybe, okay, let me just do one oscillation. So I'll make it rotate once. Then the animation is not done here. Don't do it on this one. You do it in the range selector. That's the best place to do it. So in the range selector, we have the start, we have the end, we have the offset. The start is, well, if you look at the text here, this red line, that's the start from the first letter. The end is the last letter. That's red line on the last letter. An offset is if you adjust the start and the end. So let's say I adjust the start to move up to here, and I adjust the end to move up to here. So now the offset plays around with this gap. So anything within this gap, so that it can animate playfully along itself. So that's what the offset does. So for this one, I'm going to use offset. So I will offset to the beginning here, and then at 2 seconds, I'll bring it across to this point. So just that. So it just does a flick of the text. That's all. Right, so that's the animate. Then again, I can add another animate property, or I can add a property to the already existing animate property. Any of the options works fine. It's sometimes you want to create a different animate property so that you can have a different range selector at happening at a particular time. You can, but if you add them to the previous one, whatever the selector is doing on the first one will also affect the previous one. So let me show you example. If I come in here, this animator here, and I add like opacity now, and I turn off the opacity, okay, what is going to happen is, in the same way the texts are being um, animated, the opacity is also working at the same time with that same range. It doesn't have, I cannot give it a different timing from the already existing timing. So that's what happens when you add into the animator property. But if I created a new animate property for opacity, it will create animator 2. Okay. So in animator 2, I could start from here, take the opacity down, and in my range selector, I do my start, or let me do my end at 0, and end at 100, and then back to 0. So now what happens is the stuff will swivel, and then it will walk out and walk back in. So that's when you want to use two different animator properties so that you can create different timings for the animations. Otherwise, the timing of the animations will occur at the same point in time. So that's the animate section. It has a lot of options. There's a lot of options there. Right. Okay. Are we good with that? Please remember it too, because there's some very nice animation we'll do for motion graphics with the texts and stuff, and you will need to remember all these options. Anyway, I'm recording it, so when I finish, I'll put it on the group so that you guys can watch it again. As Michael is the only person that is not active in that group. Um, yes, and based on the submissions, our video, only 2 people have submitted, Jason and Mr. Alex. So I'm still awaiting Mr. Amir and Mr. TJ and Mr. Michael. All right. So the last one, remember that's your project, your e-project. You, you have to submit it. There's no excuse for time has passed. Time has passed, that is 0. It will appear in your transcript. All right. I think it appeared in somebody's transcript, and the person was complaining, and Mr. Sam said, so they told you to do an assignment, you did not do. So the thing appear. So any school you are going to, you see there's 0. All right. It's not our business. It's your choice. Okay. So effects and presets. It's basically a setup or an arrangement of all these previous ones collected in a preset. Where we get effects and presets from is from here. We don't find here, you get it from here. Not here either. You won't get it from here. This is just effects. So this is effects and presets. It's different from this effects. This effects is for something else. They are effects for something completely different. And if I want to work with the text effects, it's not going to be found here, because the text effect here I find is just numbers and time code, right? So it's different from what I'll find here, animation presets. So whenever I want to play with effects and presets with text, you want to come here. So click on effects presets. If you don't find it, you just come to your window and look for effects and presets and click it from the Windows panel and click effects and presets generally. But if you're using your default menu or default workspace, you'll see it here. Okay, so effects and presets, we want animation presets and we want texts. There are other presets for shapes and other stuff. So, but let's go with texts. Now we have a lot of presets under texts. And like I used to tell you guys, I've used After Effects for so many years that I still have not used all the presets in After Effects. And let me not call them the foolish people. And the very good people are still creating more to add to the more already compounded problem that we have. All right, so now all these presets are text like. We can't see what it looks like. Okay, and that is the reason we have Adobe Bridge. So if you have Adobe Bridge, it will be good. If you don't, well, you just need to do trial and error and be seeing what it looks like. So um, let me try this Animate in. Okay, so I want to use a preset, but I don't know what it looks like. So let me take this espresso eye chart for now. If I right click on it, my screen is blinking for some reason. I don't know why. This one. Eh? Is it? Is it? I should hit it. So, I said right click, sorry. So if I select this preset now, I can drag it to the object or double click on it and to appear, as long as it is that text that is selected. You either drag it and drop it here, here, or you double click on it once the layer is selected, it will still affect layer. So let me double click on it and it's on the layer. And we are seeing some very funny things that looks like Jason's handwriting. YZZYWNUHXJLYMYNM. So it's just going to show a random rise in effects. So that's what that effect did. So like I said, if you have Adobe Bridge, you want to see what all these effects do. Under where we have effects and presets, click on the hamburger menu there and look for browse presets. Under browse presets, it will open Adobe Bridge. Adobe Bridge is like the finder window on your system. So it will open the exact folder where all your presets are stored in your system. You may not know where these presets are stored on your system. So it will open, Adobe Bridge will open exactly that folder. Okay, so we were talking about text. So if I double click on texts, I have all my text presets here. So we are doing Animate in. So I click on Animate in. These are all the presets. So if you select one, like this is the espresso, the one I did, it will put it here for you to preview it, to see what it looks like. If you don't like that one, you can try another one and check it. If that looks too simple, you can try something else like rain. Okay, so if you want to rain characters, don't like that one, you can do this one. So whatever options you have, you just click and it should give you a play. Once you see the one you like, the same way, just double click on it or drag it and drop it on that layer. You'll preferably double click on it. So let me go to another preset. Let's see organic. What does organic have? Organic has some nicely creative stops, organic. Uh, we have this one, chewing gum. I don't know how this is chewing gum. Maybe because it's bubbly.
Mm.
So we have this one, rubber floor. Okay, let me even start with this. Yesterday I said something. I said in professional settings, when they are testing to see how good you know the software, they could put one of these presets and tell you to tell them what was used to create it, or tell you to recreate it. So looking at this rubber floor, what do you think was used? So which one is used for it? You know, if it is scale, notice it's not everything is scaling. It's the bottom line is still there. Just take a wild guess. Take a wild guess. Is that rubber? Is there, please, is there a rubber option here? I would like to. Yeah. Mhm. So no idea. Okay, so the good thing about this, but actually, when you, I don't, right now, even if you can't get it, I won't hold you to ransom for that. But the bottom line, what I'm trying to say is understand the way your presets or your animations work. That when you see a preset, you can tell what is used. So, and like I gave you guys yesterday, if you add the presets, it's an animate, it's under animate. So if I double click this now, it appears on that my effects and presets layer, and it creates an animator. Is oscillating on the Y scale. Yeah. So this is scale and offset of starts and so so you guys can buy Michael a cup of tea later on. So it's oscillating on the scale, right? But now it's oscillating on the Y scale. That means um, when you are using your scale, just like you do in Premiere Pro and the rest, you can scale your objects uniformly or non-uniformly. That is, scale it only on the X or on the Y axis. So you can scale it non-uniformly, right? Hmm. So that's effects and presets. So with these options here, we can create a lot of text animation. So this is what I want us to try and do right now in the next 5 minutes. It should take you 5 minutes. Um, I think you already have, uh, all of you have Microsoft Word, right? You have Microsoft Word, don't we? You don't have Microsoft Word or Notepad. You don't have Word on your system. You throw your system away. Yes, just like that. What do you have on your system? So Adobe is the only thing you have on your system. It's a shame. Ooh, okay. Why I was saying it. You don't have you have text edit in your you are using Mac. Sorry, so you have text editor. So you have text edit. Okay, that one is common now. Hmm? Uncle, don't you have text edit? Mm. Thank God for your life. So what you want to do is I want to add some bulk texts. Let me open Microsoft Word. Get some text. I'll paste here. Oi. All right, so let me get some text from here. All right. Okay. So this is what I want us to achieve. I want us to achieve with the text that you have here, whatever you've copied and pasted. I want to achieve um, what do we call it now? I want to achieve a source text animation. I want to use two texts and I want to use source and text animation for them. So imagining this stuff is text, right? For this one, use source text animation. For the one at the bottom, use one of your animate options, either opacity. Yes, use opacity. Use opacity for that one. Okay. I should give you example, cool? Because Jason, yes, some of them don't understand. Like it's like Jason. All right, so this is what I mean. This is a bulk text, but I want it to reveal itself like somebody is reading it. So I want it to be reading itself. So I want to add opacity. Opacity is what makes something disappear, right? Good. And my opacity, I want it to be off. So my range selector, the stats, when you're moving, it should be reading the text like somebody is reading it. Okay. So starts, and then it should finish reading by the end of the comp, 10 seconds. So that's it's counting. UIX and two channels are often used like text is reading itself. Okay. So it will just be reading itself like that or writing itself out. So it's opacity you would use. All right, that's a question now. Open Microsoft Word or Notepad, wherever you have, there is a document somewhere in your computers. Either a document I have given you before or a document that existed before. I just need you to copy a paragraph from that document. Come in here, create a text layer, paste the paragraph. And then we make two layers by Control D, duplicates to make two layers, and then separate them. So one of them is going to have um, uh, source text, while the other one is going to have animate. So source text or is going to be hmm, let me make source text a little bit more non-bold. Let me make it like this. Okay. So for the source text on, I want us to just be changing um it's what they call it now. To be changing the paragraph alignment basically. So just between here, it's left aligned, and oops, I'll do that. Left aligned, and then at some point it becomes central aligned. At some point it becomes disaligned, right aligned. At some points it gets back to being this line with movement on the first line of, or that's not the first line, movement on the first paragraph, spacing, just so stuff like that. And at this point, somewhere, it gets back to 0. So we're just basically playing with the indentations and the uh, what this one. I told you. I said who told you? I didn't say it's not true. Who told you? Okay, you just your village people just whispered to you again. Yeah, your village people know. So, okay. All right, so just that the source text, just play with the paragraph. Then for the other one, let it read. Okay, so um, like I said, 5 minutes. So just do it. I'll come and check your works, see what it looks like. So let me pause this video. Okay, so let me do it again. So I'm drawing a rectangle, right? Just rectangle around this guy. Okay, and I'm adding a trim path to it, and then I'm trimming the path. First of all, rectangles gotta be white. Okay, so I'm trimming the start. I'm trimming the end so that there's some kind of long spacing between them. Okay. Then the offset is for 3 oscillations in 6 seconds, thereabout. So it's just going around like that for 3 seconds. Then I'll duplicate that layer, Control D, and change the parameters of the end and the start. The hey, rich something, expensive shit. Okay, so this is it your coffee? Not your coffee, you and coffee or so I just have two going the same direction. All right. This one I could make it maybe a different color. All right. Then I'll duplicate this again. This time I'll make it a little bit maybe smaller. Smaller should be fine. And then I will create I will create dashes and the strokes, uh, round cap, and dash. So dash one will be higher. Dash that will be this. Okay, and then I will duplicate that layer again. Make it larger. Maybe red. Why not? Something brighter. And remove the dash for this one. Let's move the dashes. Okay, so and then okay, yeah, supposed to change the end results. That's that. So it's got its own random. So all of them are moving together, right? But what is changing in any of them is the no is the way the end and the starts are moving, right? And then I could add circle, circular shape. So all right, for this one, I'll increase this range. So what this circle is going to do, um, I'm just going to play with the opacity and the scale. So I don't need to go to the list, I can do the transform. So scale opacity, uh, scale will be 0, like this. Scale will be 0, opacity will be 0. Then scale will get to, um, let's say 3 seconds and get up as far as, let me get opacity to 100 first, so that's what I'm doing. Then scale should get somewhere here. So let's say 500. Opacity will be 0 here. So that's the effects we're trying to create there. Okay, and then we'll duplicate this guy and offset it a little bit like this. Paste it again and offset it a little bit. So we have so this is what we wanted to create. So that's guys like so that effect is very simple. So it's very simple. It's achievable. Mm. All right. So we can achieve it now, right? So I'm going to put you in the group, yes, but I want you guys to do it. Okay, so it's going. I think this hmm? Why? Why want to be on WhatsApp now? How will I put it on WhatsApp? You know how large the file will be. When my screen went blank, what did I do? How? I just waited for it. Your own went blank. My own is going blank because of lights. All right. No, press the. What is the message is giving you there? See? So reading is good. Yeah, sorry, sorry. The reading is good. All right. So I'm holding Alt to when I click on the parameter and I hold Alt to squeeze it so that all of them, all the keyframes squeeze together. All right, so just need this. I think this shape should not be, it should be something brighter. Marida, Harida, Sharida, Yerida, Zerida, Kerida, Derida, Marida, Morida. Genki Des. So you guys can achieve it. I'm going to give you guys the loops. I'm going to give you the loops. Just playing around with their timing. Is that? Right. you're the green one, right? Okay. Okay. So it's something that you can do now. Right? So as simple as this is, because I'll check it tomorrow. So as simple as this is, you can add the other animation on the text. One of the animations that we learned to on the text itself. So let the text either write up, or let the text pop up, or let the text bounce, or whatever, using the animate properties, or the effects and presets, or the layer controls, or the no, the source text will give you a very nice bounce, but you can do something. Let me show you an example what I mean. As in on the text, right? You can add, like for instance, yeah, you can add a skew transform. Okay, add a skew transform and skew the text. Okay, change the oscillations to one. Then you can do the start and the end. Actually, I don't want to do that. Let me do offset instead. Let me do offset. Mm. Somewhere. I said somewhere. So that's, then you can add opacity, an opacity, this thing, and turn the opacity to 0. So that's while it's doing all that. So just take your time and do whatever you need to do to create the animation. Something like that. Okay. So let me save this. What would we call this? The basic one. All right.